We are on top of the hour, but I see we are not complete yet. So let's maybe wait a couple of minutes. And for those who are presenting, if you want to do a brief mic check, please do so.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Carl, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Xiao, wanted to say something? I see you're muted. Okay. Good. Then I think Giuseppe, shall we kick it off? Then, yeah. Okay, good.
Let's start, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then thanks a lot for everybody joining. So this is the BMWG and IPPM interim meeting. So here just as a reminder, it's the very same than a normal IETF meeting. So the note 12 here applies as well. So we expect that everybody's acting on professional manner and extend the respect and courtesy to their colleagues. And also, if there are any IPRs involved, that you disclose them as part of the ITF process here. Also, this session is being recorded, and we are taking also minutes in this session. For the remote participants, make sure that per default your audio and video is off unless you're presenting during the session, and also a headset is strongly recommended. This is a joint BMWG and an IPPM meeting. For those who didn't participate in the last two sessions, where we already experimented with that, with those joint meetings, we want to facilitate the exchange between both working groups because there are areas of similarities, and we want to encourage cross-reviewing, cross-posting. We had at ITF 124, Jin was presenting possible joint chartering, kicked off the initial discussion, and we'll later see on the agenda that we're going to continue in this session also that discussion. As a reminder on the charter, maybe Giuseppe, do you want to say something to BMWG?
Yeah. In a few words, maybe for who are not familiar with benchmarking working group in IPPM, this group will produce recommendations concerning the key performance characteristic of networking technologies, devices, systems, and services. The benchmarks that will be developed in these working groups are, of course, an input with the community of users and also involved those affected by those benchmarks, like networking and test equipment manufacturers. The main characteristics of these benchmarking guidelines that we develop is that they are done in a controlled stimuli in a lab environment. So this is the main difference, while the benchmarks for live and operational networks is out of scope. So this is the main point. So.
Right, and going over to the IPPM charter. So This is about develop and maintain standard metrics for quality, performance, and reliability of internet data delivery services and applications running over transport layer and IP, but also develop methodologies and protocols for those measurement metrics. So compared to BMWG, so this is about production live traffic in the internet. That's the main distinction between the two.
Yeah.
We need a volunteer for note taking. So here is the link, and I also put the link in the chat. Who will be taking the notes for today's sessions? Somebody volunteering?
I'll be helping take some notes, Thomas.
Oh, that would be great. Thanks a lot, Matt.
That will also help, no problem, as a backup.
Sure, perfect. Then some agenda bashing. So today the main focus will be on new and proposed work, while Greg gives us an update on the IPPM asymmetrical packets. That document has been passed on to the ISG, and we received an AD review, and Greg will share an update on that document. And then we have 9 new document proposals, so it's quite a packed session. And the second part will be on the joint chartering discussion. Some comments on the agenda or some bashing on the agenda? If not, let me move on. Some brief updates on document updates on BMWG and IPPM. So in IPPM, the capacity protocol is now approved by the ISG, where, as I just said before, the asymmetric packets and the hybrid two-step has been passed to the ISG, and both received AD review. And then on quality of outcome, the publication has been requested, and on IPPM IOM integrity and adoption call actually is not currently running. This is wrong on the slide. We concluded that it's now a working group document. Maybe Giuseppe on BMWG.
Yeah, for BMWG, we have, of course, some minor updates since the last IETF. So just to highlight that the MLR search has been submitted to SG. We are still waiting for the network tester configuration, so the Young model for network configuration, a new revision to address the Young doctor's review. Then we have a new document adopted on power benchmarking. And we also resumed the discussion for the renew on benchmarking working group RFCs in order to update the old RFC 2544. So this is the latest news, let's say.
Perfect. Then we have also some
just on the previous slide, Thomas. Yeah, so for the email search, so this is currently within the RFC editor. So that's I think that's really cool that we succeeded to pass the AG reviews and so on. The other documents is on the integrity Young document. This is already adopted by IPPM. And for the quality of outcome, we are currently waiting for the I would say the reply from the authors to address the AD review.
Good. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Then we also have some liaison update. So for the SR benchmark, liaison has been sent out to the IQT study group 11. Here, or let's say we are waiting for the liaison manager to post actually the liaison, while for the liaison for the quality of outcome has been sent to the Broadband Forum, and also one is planned to be sent out for the IQT study group 12, and here already Rüdiger had very good interactions with ITOT on quality of outcome, and that's very much appreciated. Good. That would be all from the chair slides. So I suggest we are starting with the first presentation. So it's Greg on the asymmetrical buckets who gives us a status update.
Okay, thank you. So would you be presenting slides?
Yes, I will be sharing the slides and then heading to you the buttons.
Okay.
So now you should have access and you should be able to switch between the slides.
Great, thank you. I think I see the arrows.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you for all the comments that we received. We received the good comments during the last call from Ayana review, and of course from Matt, our responsible AD. We are working to complete updates, and we'll be sharing the new version sometime shortly, but there are some updates that we want to highlight to you now. Okay, so for the main area, introduce the terminology section, further clarify the reflected test packet control TLV applicability, extended active performance measurement multicast environment considerations, Ayana considerations, well, still working on, and numerous editorial improvements to make the text more tight and clear. Okay, on terminology, pointed out two main RFCs. So it's a 8762, which is a base stamp specification, and in 8972, it's RFC that introduced their TLV-based extensions and stamp session identifier object in a base stamp packet. So any questions about this? Okay, so further, in reflected test packet control CLV, it's a TLV that introduced in this document to allow the control of number and interval between and size of the reflected packets. There are several sub-TLVs that in multicast environment may be used to control their leaves of the multicast tree responding, so that control their number of reflected packets that received by the session sender. Further, there is at least one case where, to clarify the text based on the recommendation from MED, introduced the normative text, as you can see here. Any questions about this change? Okay, thank you. So then moving further down, as I mentioned, the sub TLVs, they can be used to identify the subgroups either based on layer 2 information or layer 3 that the session reflector entity will be sending back the reflected test packets. And that is useful in a multicast environment, so that to control the number of reflected packets received by the session sender. Any questions about this constructs and how they're used? Okay, I don't see hands. Moving on. And IANA. IANA adopted a new hierarchy of the registries. So in this document, the TOV types is a registry group, and so that sub TOV types and others are registries in this registry group. It's will be reflected. So that's based on the feedback we received from IANA expert. And with that, so we're still working on addressing the AD comments, and we hope that we'll be ready to present you new working version soon, and then publish a new version. Any questions?
Perf. I see Matt is joining the queue. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Matt.
Yes, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Greg, for I would say for working on this. I just have one question to make sure. Do you have any, I would say, clarification question about any of the comments, or you think that's always clear on the what you have received so far?
No, the comments were very clear and appreciated and detailed, and helpful suggestions to propose how to address. So it's just, we are been so co-authors were busy with some other tasks, so coordinating updates and getting consensus took us some time. But no, all the comments were very clear, so there is no ambiguity.
Okay, so thank you, Greg. So yeah, so waiting for the new version, and then so that we can put it on the last call and make some progress on this.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you. Okay.
Any other? Yeah, thanks a lot, Greg, and also Matt. Any other comments or remarks before we're moving to the next presentation? And thanks a lot, Greg. I think that was a good status update. If not, then we have next on the agenda is the BMW CATs. Let me prepare the slides. So let's see. I think Kihan, are you in the call? I don't see him. Yes, so maybe since Kihan is not in the call, maybe jump to the next presentation. I think.
Yeah, we can skip this for now. And I see Kian. Can you hear us? I see just connected, maybe.
Okay. Then let's jump to Xiaoming maybe. Then I'm taking the slides back.
Okay.
So Yes, perfect. Xiaoming. I will pass you the slider.
Oh,
You
okay.
should now see the arrows at the bottom.
Okay. Stop.
And we can hear you.
Okay. Everybody. Xiaomi from Telecom. I will take 10 minutes for the presentation of the two chapters. This chapter is about IM direct exporting of share extensions for incorporating the automatic market method. Next. Go next page. Okay. Can go to next page.
You should have.
I can't.
You should have at the bottom of the view. You should have. You can jump back and forth, or with the arrows on your keyboard. Perfect. We can.
Okay. Sorry. Motivation and objectives. First, both IOM and the automatic market method on past heavily measured methods, and it's necessary to unify the packet encapsulation format to reduce the complexity of forwarding ship. Second, I'm direct exporting options defined in ABC's 1936 called postcard mode have faced some problem in performance measurement such as loss, including more precise overhead and bandwidth in accurate measurement results and consistent requirement methodologies. This chapter intends to augment OM's capabilities in performance measurement aspects by incorporating the automatic market method. Solutions. By extending DX options, it defines the most significant attributes of the reserve field, D and L bit, and measurement period number field. Improve setting 2 bits for ID, which may be divided into subfields, load ID assigned globally by the unified planning, and flow mount ID assigned locally, so it can be deployed in distributed ways in case of centralized country variables. It can support the 3 OM operation models, only OM trace monitoring, only performance measurement, and hybrids. Benefits. Augment IOM DX options capabilities in performance measurement. Augment the automatic market method in IPv6 by extending setting 2 bits flow ID, SN, and NPA field. Only unipacked head encapsulated format is required for both IOM trace monitor and performance. Next page, please. Yes. This table shows the collision probability of flow ID when deployed in distributed ways. When using setting 2-bit flow ID and generating 10,000 current flows, CP is almost 0. But where using a 20-bit flow amount ID and CP will drastically raise to approximately 100%. When expanding setting 2-bit flow ID, SN, and MTS field for the automatic market method, compared to 20-bit flow amount ID, CPU significantly is reduced in distributed ways. On the other hand, 22-bit flow IDs can be split into subfields with respective sufficient space. By employing MPS field, it's more simple and accurate for an analyzer and correlate loss measurement belong to the same measurement period or measurement measurement block from different loads, especially in the case where milliseconds level measurement block for real-time network performance monitoring is required. For example, precisely available metrics described in RFC 19.5.14.4, such as violated intervals. By use SN and MPS together, mark together RT tempers in different packets from different loads run to the same measurement blocks can be identified in case of fact load race, and they can also be used in identify which double marked packet is lost, compared to selecting a single double marked packet for each batch, which will lead to an inverted delays result if this double marked packet is lost. Selecting multiple double marked packets for each measurement batch provided a law-based and accurate method for packet delay measurement. Furthermore, average delays can also be obtained for every measurement period. Okay. Next steps. Any comments or any suggestions are welcome. We will refine the draft according to the feedbacks. Thank you. Well, I can continue the second draft.
Sure, yeah. Thanks a lot, Xiaoman. But I see Greg in the queue. I think he has a question.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. So, as I understand, the encapsulation that you propose to modify, it's already being published as, and it's based on extension IPv6 extension header.
Yes.
So, how their backward compatibility? So, how the new extension header, how the same extension header type with a different format can coexist with implementations that support the old format of the same extension header.
Okay.
Because we can assume that there are some implementations that support already published specification. So by changing the format for the same extension type, how the two can be recognized, and what there will be the procedure to ensure backward compatibility, or how that will be mitigated.
Thank you. This is a good point. We consider the compatibilities. We will define a new type, the new type. Okay.
Okay. So if you plan to do a new extension header, then might be that's a question for their chairs, is that needs to be reached to 6-man working group, because it's a group that tasks with the maintaining IPv6, and as I understand, all their modifications to IPv6 encapsulation has to be brought there. Thank you.
Maybe as a chair, I was reading briefly through the document, but I haven't seen that it's mentioning any extension headers on IPv6. I think the document focuses on IOM itself and the new IOM type. So here I'm a bit confused. Maybe if you could clarify that, Xiaoming and Greg. Oh, I see also Giuseppe and Justin in the line, maybe.
Thank you. Thank you. This is generally capture format is not only suitable for IPv6, only suitable for other encapture transport protocol such as MPLS.
Understood you correctly, it's independent of the transport protocol or the IP protocol. Is that correct? Or are you introducing
yes.
a new? Okay, got it. So then maybe Tal, can you go next?
Yeah, this is just in response to the previous discussion. The way I understand the draft is that it does not define a new IPv6 option type. If it's going to be over IPv6, it uses the existing IPv6 option type with a new IOM type that's being allocated by this draft, which allows the same IPv6 option to be used with a new type of IOM. Correct me if I'm wrong, Xiaoming.
Okay, we can use the same the same type about for IPv6 options. Maybe we can consider them deeply. Better. Okay.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Tal. And Justin?
Yes, I just want to emphasize what Tal just said. This is exactly the same interpretation I have. So basically, I just went through the draft very quickly. So just be careful. It's just my opinion. But from what I saw, it's just, a new IOM option type. So this is not really that they are modifying the DEX. They are creating a new option type, which is called an extended DEX. Yeah, if we are right, there is no need to involve 6man in this, and this is completely fair, to create a new option type for that. So yeah, maybe we can write in the chat to the author just to make sure that he got what we discussed and we agree on that.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Justin, for clarification. And thanks a lot, Xiaoming. Maybe since Kehan is now back in the call, it's okay, Xiaoming, we are taking Kehan's slide first, and then we're coming back to you with your next presentation. So let me take the slide control back.
Thanks, Thomas. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, perfectly, and you should have the slides control.
Wonderful. Thank you. Sorry, apologies again that I got late.
No way.
Yeah, I'll quickly introduce this work. So basically, the work is about benchmarking methodology for CATS. CATS is a working group in routing area, currently developing standards for a new kind of traffic engineering approach for steering the traffic based on awareness of the computing as well as network information. So this work had been presented in Madrid for the first time, and then we have 2 revisions and then presented today. Next slide, please.
You should have the slide control set.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I introduced the background of CATS. So here is a link for the CATS working group. So for people who might not be very known to this working group very well, so CATS is about the steering the traffic according to compute information. So The benchmarking methodology of this document is trying to assess what CAS matrix appropriate for instance selection, as well as want to assess the benefits and trade-offs of multiple deployment solutions. Because according to CAS framework, there are 3 models for deploy CAS solutions. That is a distributed approach, a centralized approach, and hybrid approach. So this document will propose methodologies for test these 3 different models, and we will analyze different CAS effectiveness from different perspectives, like system utilization, end-to-end service latency, and as well as session continuity. I think this page also provides some backgrounds like CAS matrix. There is another document on CAS matrix definition, and then we can refer to that document to test the details of that CAS matrix on the 3 deployment models. And here are the updates from the 0 version to the 2nd version. So we have added new co-authors from China Unicom, DTE, and ATRI. And then we have add a test setup statement on the hybrid approach to align with the CAS framework this time. And then we have provide more details on the indicators for reporting, including the configuration from control plane, forwarding plane, and also application plane. And we have clearly stated the CAS matrix details of 3 levels that are required to be reported, what fields are mandatory and what are optional in the benchmarking tests. And we have added test procedures on hybrid approach in each benchmarking test. Then we have provide us a supplementary test on load balancing variance in section 5.5 to evaluate the path selection functions. And so here are the updates on the test setup. So basically, distributed approach, we have the device on the test is about the CAS router, the ingress router, as well as the egress router. And then in centralized and hybrid solution setup, basically the device on the test is the SDN controller, because because the CPS, the path selection function, is primarily placed at the controller for making policies and select the best the path for steering the traffic. And in the test reporting format section 4, here are all the details we have added. In control plane, we need to report SDN controller types and versions, and northbound and southbound protocols. In forwarding plane configurations, we need to report forwarding plane protocols, like for example SRv6, and then the number of routers, edge servers, and links, and also the edge server types and versions we use. In application plane configurations, we need to report traffic types and configurations. For CAS matrix, there are 3 levels. For level 0 matrix, that is the raw matrix, we need to report units, statistics, and formats. These are mandatory fields. For matrix sources, it is optional. In level 1 matrix, the matrix type, statistics, as well as normalization and aggregation functions are mandatory, while matrix sources is optional. For the fully normalized matrix, the level 2 matrix, we only need to report matrix type and normalization functions because it is a single value. So in the section 5.5, which is a new test we have added, is a load balancing variance. So the objective of this test is to evaluate the traffic steering effectiveness of different algorithms for path selections. Lower variance value means that the algorithm performs better for load balancing. So we have chose 3 different path selection algorithms. The first one is ECMP, The second one is global minimum, and the third one is PID. So for each test round, well, the implementers can configure one path selection function and initiate the same number of service flow. For example, the flow number is 100, and we have also set service edge sites for providing the service instance, for example, 3. So in each round, we have the following two equations to calculate the load balancing variance according to evaluate the load balancing effects. So it's basically new test to test the path selection behavior. So sorry for the layout of this page. So here is example on the distributed approach. We have 5 tests. The one test is the matrix collection and distribution, and then session continuity, end-to-end service latency, system utilization, and then load balancing variance. You can see that we are 3 service edges providing video, traffic as an example. So the contact instance has played at the edge, and then the edge router can collect all the cast matrix from the edge and then notify to the ingress router for path selection. And then the path selection, the result has been placed at the ingress. So here is a example. The forwarding plane protocol is SR6, while the control plane is using BGP for cast matrix extension and the distribution. And so next step, we need more discussion from both CATS working group and in benchmarking working group, and to polish the document, because CATS working group it is focusing on standardizing solutions in the next coming IPF meetings. So we need more and better coordination, and then we plan to ask for working group adoption before IETF 1 to 5, and then we still we're welcome for comments and contributions. And thank you.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Kehan. Any comments or suggestions?
Yeah, any comments? Yeah, as a chair, I just want to say that it's really good that you involved from the beginning both CATS working group and BNWG, because in BNWG, of course, we may not have all the expertise on CATS related benchmarking, while of course we are working more on benchmarking guidelines. So it's good that you so please continue to involve both CATS and benchmarking working group while progressing these drafts, because yeah, it's the best way to move ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Joseph. Yeah.
Perfect. Then we are coming back to Xiaoming on the IOM trace option extension. And let me load the slides. And I will give you the controls. You should have access now, Xiaoming.
Okay. This chapter is about IOM trace option extensions for incorporate the alternate market method. The chapter is similar to the previous chapters. Next, okay. So I can tell.
I think you jumped the slide.
So sorry. Okay. Next page, please. Yes. sorry. This draft modification objective is similar to the first draft. This is another IOM options, choice options, called passport mode. Similarly, the passport mode, like the ability in performance measurement, such as put loss. Similarly, this draft intends to augment choice options to capability in performance measurement aspect by incorporating automatic solutions. Extend the choice options by defining the most significant 5 bits of the reserved field, D, L, F, SM bit, and optional flow, ID, SN, and MPS field. Similarly, Emperor setting 2 bits for flow IDs. Similarly, support the 3 OM operation models, only IOM shares multi-thread, only performance measurement, and the hybrid. Benefits get the same. Yes. That's all for this chapters. Yeah.
Thank you, Xiaoming. And I see Tal is now in the queue.
Yes, Tal Mizrahi. So I have 2 questions. One, I'm not sure I understand why you need the D-bit in this draft, as opposed to the previous draft. In this case, you already have the timestamp data field, which is in the trace option itself. So I'm not sure why you need the D-bit and why you need to export the timestamp if it's already part of the data. And the second question is if you have an L field, which indicates the color for the counters, why not add a counter data field as one of the IOM data fields? That would just simplify the whole scenario, the whole flow here. Instead of exporting the counter, you just incorporate it into the IOM data.
I'll thank you, Tal. This IOM choice options is implement method is the same as the the IOM DX options. IOM DX options is export packet for each loaders, but IOM trace options in the end the ingress loaders to export the IOM to IOM data. This is the main differences between two chapters. We can discuss them in detail by mailing list. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
And there is Rakesh on the queue. Rakesh, do you have a question?
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. Rakesh Gandhi from Cisco Systems. So the question I have is that there is alternate marking defined for IPv6 option 9343 RFC. And then there is IOM defined in 9486 IPv6 options. They both now have solutions for this IOAM with various DL and with fields plus flow ID and whatnot. So it will be just a draft to clarify when we would use which way, any considerations and stuff like that. That would be helpful to the implementer.
Thank you, okay. Okay.
Maybe let's take that to the listed answer, and I think that's a good comment from Rakesh. Thank you, Xiaoming.
Okay, thank you.
So then let's go to the next presentation from Xiaoming about extensions to IOM trace option for carrying fixed size data.
Can you hear me, Thomas?
Yes, we can hear you. And just give me a second on.
Okay, thank you.
So, and I will give you the slide control. There we go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Xiaoming speaking. This presentation is on extensions to IOM trace option for carrying fixed size data. The latest version of this chapter is 02.
We can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me, Thomas?
Now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. It took some time for the page to go to the next one. This is summary of the major changes since version 01. In version 02, we removed the dependence on CSIC draft because CSIC mechanism is being standardized in UEC. And it appears that CSIC draft won't progress anymore in IETF. In version 02, we also removed the signal value maximum per hop delay because the co-author Yi Song from China Mobile stated that they care more about edge-to-edge delay rather than the maximum per hop delay. Additionally, in version 02, we added a note to clarify difference between fixed size IOM tracing data and pre-allocated IOM tracing data, because there was a question on this point when I presented this draft last time at IETF 123. This is a recap of the key points of this draft. This draft extends the IOM trace option to carry a fixed size data. On the left side, it's the format of IOM trace option defined in RFC 9197. In this format, there are 4 flags that can be used for extensions. 3 of them have been defined by RFC 9197 and RFC 9322, respectively. They are overflow flag, loopback flag, and active flag. This draft defines the last flag and call it a fixed size flag. When this fixed size flag is not set, the IOM trace option remain as is. When this fixed size flag is set, an adapted format of IOM trace option is defined in this draft. Note that when this fixed size flag is set, the node length field and the remaining length field must be set to 0, which makes this design is backward compatible. The adapted format is put on the right side of this slide. It has an IAM fixed size, fixed data trace type, which is a bitmap used to indicate the presence of one or more fixed size aggregate data. The definition of fixed size aggregate data is illustrated in the next slide. It took some time for the page. Oh, okay. This is the format of fixed size aggregate data. The format takes example by the CSIG definition. There are two data fields called the signal value and the locator metadata. Among them, locator data metadata contains the port ID, device ID, and the TTL value. As to the signal value, the current version 02 draft defines three signal values. They are minimum available bandwidth, maximum link utilization, and the maximum buffer utilization. For usage of the signal values, draft Liu IPPM SRv6 bandwidth measurement describes a use case of selecting candidate paths within an SRv6 policy. More signal values, such as sum, mean, max, average of a new signal can be added by separate documents. Within the bitmap, there are enough bits reserved for future extensions. Next steps, I would like to ask for more reviews and comments, and we'll revise this draft to improve it. And then maybe ask for working group adoption. That's all. Thank you.
Perfect, Xiaomin. And I see Tal is in the queue. Tal, please.
Yes, so thanks for presenting this. And I think that my main comment is about using the existing IOM option types and basically a new flag which defines a completely different functionality compared to the existing IOM data spec. And it would be best to just use an IOM option type. That's one approach. And another approach is to actually use the draft that we're going to present next, because it achieves the same goals, but it uses a different IOM option type. So I would suggest to just collaborate and use a common draft which defines a new IOM option type and basically achieve the same purpose.
Yes, I thought about that. My main concern about the draft you're going to present is that it seems to me too complex and too flexible. You know, because for data plane encapsulation, if the design is too complex and flexible, it will prevent the data plane to be implemented. You know, for control plane, we may have TOV, sub-TOV, sub-TOV, but for data plane, this kind of structure is not hardware friendly. So that's my main concern. So we can discuss it more. Yeah, we can collaborate.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect, yeah. And thanks a lot for presenting, Xiaomin. And yeah, please continue and discuss that on the mailing list together. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So moving to the next presentation on IOM templates, and I believe Carl is next on presenting. And you should have control now. Tal.
Okay, thanks. So my name is Tal Mizrahi. I'm from Huawei, presenting on behalf of my co-authors. And so this draft defines a new IOM option type. And the idea is that, as you can see at the bottom here, it's a very simple IOM option type format. It's just basically a shim header that allows for different template IDs, template types. Each of them may have different semantics. The common thread along these different templates is that they all have a fixed length. Each one may have a different length, but the length is fixed throughout the path. It doesn't change along the path. And it's also not a function of the number of hops, which makes it much simpler in terms of packet processing. And also the common thread is that the template can be changed by intermediate IOM transit nodes. Okay, next slide. So we can see a couple of use cases here. One use case, the first one was actually mentioned in the previous presentation by Xiao, which is or kind of a similar use case actually, which is aggregating data by the various transit nodes along the path by a specific aggregation function. So it might be minimum or maximum or an average aggregation function, just as a few examples. The second use case here is another draft that was presented in IPPM, which suggests to use a single field for accumulating the delay along the path, so that each transit IOM node adds its own transit delay to the accumulated delay field. So these are two different use cases which were presented in two different drafts. And actually, we have a few more use cases. Each of them is a different draft that was presented in IPPM by a different set of authors. In some cases, some of the authors are common. One of them is the previous draft that was presented by Xiao. And actually, all these different drafts, they may have different purposes, but they can all be achieved by the same IOM type, so that it has a common shim header, and the rest, which is kind of a template data, is determined by the template ID. So as Xiao said, it's very flexible, but there is some common functionality which is presented in this draft. For example, using the namespace ID, and what happens if you don't support this IOM type, or security considerations. So we do believe that some of the functionality is going to be common for the different use cases. And for each use case, we expect that there is going to be a new draft, a different draft, which defines the functionality and just allocates a new template ID for each use case. So this is the second time we present this draft. The previous time was very short, just a minute, and we welcome feedback. And I think since there are so many different authors that had kind of similar ideas that could benefit from this draft, I would expect many people to have opinions about this draft. Not necessarily support it, but at least have an opinion about it. So I'm really looking forward to people sending their feedback about this draft. Any comments or questions?
Maybe as a comment from my side as an individual. So when I was just reading the title and about seeing the first section on template, I was a bit misguided, because I'm coming from an IPFix background, and in IPFix, the word template means basically advertising a schema. And I think what you're trying to do here is, if I understand correctly, is basically establish a common header and have basically below additional extension to that common header, if I'm not mistaken here.
Right. Yeah. For the lack of a better word, but I think it's a good point, and we might consider using a different term, assuming that we adopt this document, and we're certainly open to a different term here.
Exactly. Otherwise, I think it's a great idea from my side. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Any other comments from the working group? I see Giuseppe.
Yeah. As a co-author of one of the use cases that is mentioned, I think that this can be quite interesting to generalize a way to carry different option. And I think it's an interesting proposal. As a contributor, I would be happy to further review this document.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Giuseppe. Thanks a lot, Tal.
Thank you. Thanks.
Then we are moving to the next presentation, which is the network slice service benchmarking. I see Chidong is already here. Let me prepare the slides and pass the controls to you. Yes, we do.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Jiedong from Huawei. I'm going to give a brief presentation about this draft on IETF network slice service benchmarking on behalf of my co-author, Luis. Okay. So here are some background information about this topic. Basically, network slicing aims to provide assurance of specific network performance objectives for services which require both the connectivity and the performance commitment. And in TIS working group, there are several RFCs published on this topic, and the RFC 9543 describes the general framework for requesting and operating network slices built from IETF technologies. And in this RFC, there's a new concept introduced called Network Resource Partition, or NRP. It is used as an underlying network resource construct, which can be used to support one or a group of network slice or enhanced VPN services. The enhanced VPN service framework is introduced in RFC 9732. It is also an implementation approach for the network slice service using NRP. NRP is basically a set of resources, including the buffering, queuing, and scheduling resource in a set of links in the underlying network. So it can provide the committed resource for a specific set of services in the network. This document provides a benchmarking methodology for network slicing, and it focuses on evaluating the key functionalities and the effectiveness of network slicing. Okay, so in this 00 version draft, we describe several test cases of network slicing to cover the key functionalities and also the performance of network slice service. The first one is network slice resource partition. This aligns with the network resource partition concept, which is to test whether the network can support to partition the link resources into different pieces and to build an underlying network resource construct called an NRP. Then the second test case is to check whether we can build a topology in the control plane, which aligns with the NRP, the scope of the NRP, so that it can control the path computation, and so that the traffic will be sent within the constraint topology for the NRP, and the traffic will get a commitment of the resource, like bandwidth resource, in this control plane topology. And the third one is about how we can associate a network SR policy with a specific NRP, so that SR policy can be used to steer traffic through a specified path, and also with a resource guarantee. And we also have two test cases to check whether with the background traffic and also the test traffic in the same network, whether the network slice service can be provided with guaranteed latency and bandwidth. So these are the test cases covered in the draft, and here we also show the example of the test topology. We can build a topology with multiple nodes, and also between the nodes there should be links which can support the partition of the link resources for different NRPs. And the tester is used to generate both the background traffic and also the test traffic. Okay. For the next steps, since this is a 0.0 version, we would like to solicit review comments and suggestions, and we would like to know if people have other related test cases to be added to this document. Then we will revise the draft accordingly, and for sure we will welcome collaborations on this topic. So I think that's all. Thank you. Any comments?
I don't know if there are comments.
I have just one comment on this one, yeah, because so the plan is to do some benchmarking and so on. That means that we have some implementation of NRPs, and to my knowledge, there is no such thing currently provided in implementation. So yeah, what will be the plan? I would say to us is what we will be recorded in this. I would say in this document, in the absence of an implementation to show this.
You mean the implementation of NRP?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there are several implementations we can support the partitioning of link resources and to build an NRP with a set of link resource partitions. So that is something already implemented by multiple vendors as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay, it would be really good, I would say, if we can have, I would say, more information on the available NRP implementation and what they are currently doing. For example, can we have the partition of the queuing part and this kind of the information? So yeah, please, if you can share this on the list, it will be really helpful for the working group to assess the work we are proposing here to be exported in the future.
Okay, I will check whether we can share something to the working group. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, G.
Thank you for the comment.
I have another question, Jimmy, just to know if you presented this also in TEAS working group, or do you plan to present in TEAS in the future?
So far, not yet. Maybe we can present it to TEAS if, because this is a benchmarking draft, we can collect. We plan to collect the feedback from benchmarking first. Then maybe when it's relatively mature, or we have more.
I mean, in addition to benchmarking, not as a replacement. So just to receive feedback from both these expert and benchmarking.
Okay.
So the draft can be in benchmarking, but maybe you can also, let's say, involve TEAS into the discussion. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good suggestion. we will consider that.
And maybe Carsten, real quick, yes.
Yes, hello, this is Carsten. Thanks for the presentation. So the current draft version is 0.0. Is that correct?
Yes.
So obviously, as normal in 0.0 versions, the test cases are very brief. And of course, there are many, many things that need to be done. So how much do you plan to extend the methodology, because the benchmarking methodology is at the heart of this proposal, before you would ask for adoption?
Yeah, we would like to get more feedback from the working group and see how we can improve this document with more like the information or content about the methodology. Yeah.
Right, but my question is not if feedback from the working group. I mean, obviously, my feedback would be for a benchmarking methodology test plan or document. Some benchmarking methodology should be provided, and that would be my feedback to section 4. I think it's a good idea in general, but of course the devil is in the detail. And from my point of view, slicing benchmarking methodology is only needed if we can solve some of the challenges and guide the industry, and not if we just say, well, create some bandwidth in the slice and outside the slice.
Okay, I think we need more work on this for sure. I will check how we can improve that part in next few revisions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carsten. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you.
We go for the next presentation on telco cloud benchmarking consideration, and I see Tina is in. I will pass you the slide controls, which you should have now. So please, Tina, go ahead.
Tina, we cannot hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear us, Tina? Seems to be an audio
we
problem.
cannot hear you. Can you?
I see a message. I can hear you. So Tina can hear us, but she cannot. We cannot hear you. Do you think you can fix the audio?
Maybe you can try to exit and enter again, because you have to provide all the privilege to microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's
we can hear you. Perfect.
Good.
All good. Thanks. You
Please go ahead.
Go ahead, Tina.
We cannot hear you. At least I cannot hear you.
Yes, same here. I think she just went offline, so maybe let's give her a minute or two. I think she's back.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Sorry for the delay.
No problem.
I had a problem with mic. Okay. Hello, thank you for giving me this opportunity to present our draft. And this draft is about a CNI benchmarking consideration, and I am presenting on behalf of our co-authors. CNI, Kubernetes CNI plays an important role in how connectivity is provided inside a cluster and across distributed infrastructure. And it's very important. And the goal of this draft is also to support development of standardized benchmarking methods for CNI in heterogeneous infrastructure. However, we have many Kubernetes CNI solutions, and it's very important. We do not have a standardized benchmarking methodology, and it's more visible when we are talking about multi-cluster deployment. And this lack of standards results in non-reproducible and vendor-specific outcome, and it makes it difficult to compare the results and choosing the right one for our situation. So the main topics that has been covered in this draft are as follow. First of all, we have CNI benchmarking, key aspects that in this section we define the metrics, the core performance metrics, with some references to existing RFCs. And in addition, for example, RFC 1242 or 2544 and some others. We also define two other categories of metrics that are extended performance metrics and extended quality of experience for DevOps and developers, that these categories are optional. We also have one section regarding a best practice, which is coded. And based on the insight, we also define a Kubernetes CNI benchmarking telco cloud methodology. When we are talking about federated and multi-cluster environments and the CNI benchmarking in this environment, there is a gap because there are some documents and drafts that explain about benchmarking methodologies for virtualized and containerized infrastructure. There are also some others that explain about multi-cluster aspects like operations, security, or service deployment. But none of them address the CNI benchmarking in a multi-cluster environment, and it's important. So there are some consideration that should be reflected when we are talking about benchmarking. For example, and these are important because, for example, each topology model introduces distinct path link and potential bottlenecks and security concerns or overhead should be considered. We also have one section regarding the coded, which is an open source and modular benchmarking environment, and addresses the need for repeatable and infrastructure agnostic benchmarking. And there is also a QR code if you want, you can scan it. And the last slide is about Kubernetes CNI benchmarking, which are some of the most important things are mentioned here. For example, when we are talking about benchmarking, we should consider isolated test beds or what tests should be repeated, how many times, and these items are some of the important ones. Or for example, using traffic generators or multiple protocols should be considered. For the next steps, we have planned to extend this draft and prepare a new version for IETF. And also we have an standardization workshop that will be in February 2026, and participation from the working group is welcomed. We're also looking for hearing about your comments and feedbacks and work on this draft to improve it because it's the second version. So thank you, and done.
Thank you, Tina. Any comments?
Thank you.
Maybe just one small comment from my side. You mentioned in February there is a session. Will you be sharing like on the mailing lists on BMW in IPPM.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
excellent.
Yes, I will send the link, and thank you if you attend. Thank you.
Sure, excellent. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And also, I just want to add that, just remind that in Montreal, also the author of the related draft on containers infrastructure, Ming Gong, that I don't see him connected now, but but he mentioned that you discuss to define the boundaries between your drafts, and this is really good that you had an offline discussion with them also to define the difference between and the boundaries between your two works. So yeah, thank you.
Yes.
It's appreciated.
Yes.
Thank you. And please follow up on the mailing list also for the workshop in February. Yeah. And yeah, it will be good.
Perfect. And with that presentation, we concluded the new and proposed work, and we're moving now to the second part, to Jin, continuing the discussions on the joint proposed joint chartering. So let me start sharing the slide and handing you the controls, Jin. You should have them now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I have a video problem, so hope our audio should be okay. So good evening, good morning, everyone. So I am responsible for coordinating this IPPM BMWG joint charter discussion. And for people who haven't followed the Montreal meeting, so it's a good chance to chime in to provide your feedback and input. Can you hear me? So slides are on a little bit delay. And so the background recapture, and we know the BMW and IPPM joint working group session has been tried in both Madrid meeting and Montreal meeting, and trying to make a two working group work collectively. Just before Montreal meeting, our AD, first kick off the IPPM BMWG consolidation discussion in September 23, and so also assigned me to coordinate this effort. So to proceed this work, I try to approach many experts in IPPM and the BMWG working group offline, and so in Montreal meeting, actually we open the discussion and try to connect the feedback, and we pitch the joint charter proposal and collect the feedback in both IPPM BMW joint meeting and also in office area meeting. And we connect quite a lot of positive feedback and also combined with some negative feedback. So thanks Agent Farrell, Carson, and Rudiger, Luis, Tyre, and Gabriel, and many others to provide valuable input and comments. So for people who haven't provided comments, actually, I think you still can follow the link at the bottom to add your comments. So what is the motivation and goal for today? And I think the motivation try to make two working work connectively to better structure how IETF can be better approach network performance activity and the benchmark activity. So the goal of today for the discussion, I will take you walk through all the initial feedback from the Montreal meeting, and to clarify what we think and also identify what are missing. So we want to reserve more time for open discussion with a few pocket questions, and also we want to plan for the next step. And here's the working group health status, health report, and which also explain why we want to have IPPM and BMW synergy, why we want to have joint charter discussion. And So we can measure the working group health from working group participation and contribution perspective. I will not go into detail to discuss this, but 2 points I want to highlight. One is for both working group like a sufficient cross peer review and on new worker and also working group document, especially for BMWG worker. And the second is there's significant dropping for the BMWG participation and also slow growth of the new worker in BMWG recently. So this is something we need to pay more attention. So here's the initial feedback we received from Montreal, and I also mapped this initial feedback to the open issue I presented in the IETF 124 meeting, and I can break down them into the 4 categories. So I will talk about them one by one. The first issue is about is there a common framework for both BMWG and IPPM? And we received a bunch of the comments from the IETF 124, and some people believe there's lots of commonality on metric type and terminology. For example, obviously 6390 guideline and obviously 8911 and also, some people also think, BMWG and IPM are two, group of people and different group of people with different expertise, and also the leadership representation between IPPM and the BMW is a little bit imbalanced. I think we can consider, grow more leadership in the the benchmarking test experience in the performance metric directorate. And one interesting question is about whether we collaborate on intersection scope or entire scope. I think my understanding is we try to make two worker group or to work collectively on common building block. This will help improve the work efficiency for the future worker. For example, some common security framework can be developed, for both BMWG worker and the IPPM worker to help also to better document the security consideration section. So this can help IHG to better understand how security section can be designed. And also recently there's some discussion about the basic generic BMWG worker obviously 2544, whether we need to update and also employ some IPPM measurement method. So this cross-border worker, require both working group pay more attention. And for IPPM specific worker and the BMWG specific worker, I think they can develop separately, but I think probably we need to encourage more cross peer review. But how we can do this? So I want to looking for your feedback input. How we can encourage more this peer review. And second issue is about.
Maybe can we stop on the first question and maybe just ask maybe in the room, like I think one important feedback was about the cross peer review, basically whether joining those two working groups would help that cross peer review or would not, and wherever there are commonalities between the two working groups, I would love to see some feedback here from the colleagues here. Do you share that, or what's your opinion here?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I think for each group, BMWG and IPPM, I think we have many worker. Even within the IPPM, you still need to have a cross peer review. So chair should encourage more peer review. One strategy you can take is prioritize some working group document and before you take some new workers. So this maybe can encourage more peer review for the high priority worker. And but that's my some sort. Maybe people have some other input or feedback on this. Yeah, Ali.
Sorry, may I speak?
Maybe Carsten now. Yes.
Okay. Yes. First, thank you very much, Chin, for preparing this summary. It's really good work, and I would support the merger. How to say? But peer review has always been a problem in these smaller working groups, and I can only speak for the benchmarking methodology working group. I always had the feeling that there is not enough peer review. I mean, authors focus on their own work. Probably that's everywhere in IETF, but in this working group specifically. And we got more peer review from peers outside the IETF, and then later from IESG. Then from the other working group members. So I think that's a generic task, independent of whether the working groups continue existing separately or together, to steer or encourage more peer review for the drafts.
Yeah, thanks. Well, good comment. So next, Ali.
Safar, please.
Yeah, so in my view, doing any like synthetic fixing will not fix the problems. Like if there is, and this is not the only place where there are commonality between the working group. There are many different instances where reviews from other people, from other working group is needed, and it happens. So it all depends on people interests and the set of people that are engaged. I don't believe that by just merging the working group, you magically increase that participation or force people to review the work. I think it will even be less productive by combining the working group, because now you have set of folks that are interested in one set of work, and then they are spending time reviewing and looking at the work that they are not directly involved in. It's better to have different working group where set of people that are interested in work go and focus on that. There is review needed. Those things happen across the board. It's not a new problem that this working group are facing.
Yeah, thanks, Ali, for sharing your comments. But I understand. For both working group, recently there's quite a lot of cross-border work. Maybe these are also require both working group pay more attention. So how we can, to encourage more of these work can be developers. So this maybe some joint effort is needed. But I understand your concern, and
maybe just one question from my side so far. Like Carsten was mentioning before, I think there are two topics. One is like there are commonalities between both working groups, and then the other topic is about cross-reviewing, where Carsten said cross-reviewing is always a problem and needs to be dealt separately, versus having basically joint commonalities and working on those joint commonalities. Do you share that as well, that these two things need to be viewed separately, or do you think it's the same?
I mean, I view commonality is not a new problem between two working groups, or need for collaboration or need for cross-pollination is not a new problem. But to solve that problem, merging the working group is not the only solution. And yeah, so that is my view.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, maybe I go ahead for the second part. The second issue is about working group resource and time management, and which I think maybe related to the first issue as well. People fear the working group will be congested if two working group combined, and also people concern have one session for two working group topic is not enough. And I think talking with two working group chair, I think working group chair can consider to prioritize the working group document progress before taking on some new work. In case of the one session is not sufficient, I think working group chair can consider to schedule 2 sessions during the IETF meeting. And for some new worker, and especially for some new individual chapters that need more progress, actually, I think the chair can consider schedule more interim meeting. I think this has already been practiced in many working in some other area. For example, with area, actually, they can schedule quite a lot of interim meeting to progress some new worker. And so this really improve the working efficiency. And also we can consider to using the running code as a factor to prioritize new worker. And so this really can help to, make sure we can produce a good quality document. So for this part, any feedback and comments? Tar, I think you raised the comments in Monterey meeting about this.
Right. Yeah, I agree with this, obviously, and I think the main thing is that the IETF meeting is not the same as an interim meeting. In the IETF meeting, we had almost 70 participants. In this meeting, we have a little bit less than 20. So obviously, the IETF meeting is more productive. You get more discussion. So it's very important for us to have enough agenda time in the IETF meeting. And regardless of whether we decide to merge or not, either way, I think it's important for us to make sure we have enough agenda time, especially to discuss drafts which are either new or require discussion. Not all drafts require discussion. In some cases, we just provide the updates, routine updates. These can be done in interim meetings. But drafts that need either discussion or new work, I think that it's important to present in the IETF meeting.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. Gabriel?
So my question is that the proposal has that we should schedule 2 sessions for a joint working group. Okay, if we are 2 working groups, but we cooperate, then it's possible that we have one BMWG and one IPPM session, and we can cooperate, we can invite other drafts into our sessions and vice versa. But if we make a merged single working group, will we be allowed to have 2 sessions?
Yeah, I will just clarify this one. Yeah, the number, I would say, of the session, this is something which is really independent of the whether we merge or we keep the working group separate. So this is really the time I would say management by the chairs. They can request for 1 or multiple sessions that will be accommodating the actual need from the working groups. So that's something which we need to separate, I would say, from the discussions. And yeah, in the future we may have, even if you continue, for example, for the future changes in meeting, that we continue the experience that we are having the joint meeting, we can request for 2 joint sessions, but for the working groups, and we can request for 2 hours if we have enough work that need really to be discussed and have, I would say, that will justify that we'll be sitting together for 3 hours there having live discussion between all of us. So yeah, that's something that we can be arranged, and I trust that the chairs, that they will be doing the right call here, so that to make sure that the working group has enough time budget to achieve the what he is interested to do.
Okay, I still think that it might be good for, let's say, a year that we keep 2 separate working groups and we have joint sessions, and if it works well, then we can merge. It's just an idea. Thank you.
Yeah, seems like a make an experiment. Yeah. Giuseppe?
Yeah, I was on mute. I just want to answer, say, the point raised by Tal. So based on my experience in IETF, so yeah, for IPPM and BWG, this is the first try with the interim meetings. But based on my experience in IETF, there are several working groups that are used regularly, the interim meetings. Also, they have 3-4 interim meetings between 2 IETF meetings. They have a good attendance. So just to say, it's also a matter of habit of the specific working groups. Maybe this is just our first try. Maybe in the future we can also improve the attendance of these interim meetings. So because it's something that is regularly used in IETF, in other working groups. Yeah.
Yep. Thomas?
Yeah, I just wanted also to follow up on TAL. So we had at IETF 123, we did 2 sessions, right, to have time. And here this time in 124, we did a session at IETF and we did an interim session. And the focus here was a bit before at IPPM for the new work. We did only lightning talks, but we understood in these lightning talks there is not enough time to present the document, and especially not enough time for discussion. So that's why this time we went a bit for giving for the new work more time, more discussion, and that would be very helpful to get from everybody's feedback, whether giving more time to new work, whether this was a good idea, or if we should go back to lightning talks.
Yep. Safa?
Yeah, so I think this is not something that you should ever consider for merging, a reason for merging, because this is completely management and it has nothing to do with technicality. You can actually have all of this thing done in 2 different working group settings or in one setting. You can even have 2 IPPM sessions at 1 IETF, and you can have 1 BM working group session, or you can skip 1 IETF and then have 2 IPPM and then every other IETF, depending on all capacity. I think it worked better the other way around, by keeping them separate, because then you have a tailored set of people come in and provide comments and do the review. I think by merging, you again have this thing is that, okay, yeah, there is one on Monday and one on Friday, and then you are fragmented with the people that have interest in a specific set of work. So I do not see this by no any mean a reason for merging. This is a management issue.
Okay. Taro?
Yeah, again, regarding interim meetings, I think generally interim meetings are pretty useful, especially when there are a few drafts that need to make progress over a long period of time. When you have more frequent meetings, you get faster progress, obviously. And I think that it's especially important to decide or to prioritize which specific drafts need to be discussed in interim meetings and which ones need to be discussed in IETF meetings. And that's the best way to use interim meetings in an efficient, effective way.
Yeah, that's a good point. Originally, I think, for high priority worker, maybe, should be, allocate more time in, during the ITA week. But for some new worker, we can make a good use of the interim meeting. But maybe there's some other, combination choice. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, maybe I go to the next. Yeah, third issue is about how to support a working group dispatcher role, and I think we have performance metric directive get recently revived, so we can make good use of it. And some comments we received from the Montreal meeting, one comment from our chair is where dispatcher should be only at the beginning of the document lifecycle or throughout the document lifecycle. So I think based on my understanding, we can leverage this performance metric directory review, on these performance metric workers that are ready for publication. And also optionally, we can, dispatch or coordinate some new worker to technology specific working group or in some other area or in ops area, and just at the beginning with a new worker get started. And also some people raise some comments whether the scope expansion only will grow more worker for the IPPM. I think that there's some misconception. So the principle we want to make it is, for example, technology specific worker should be still developed by technology specific working group. But for some technology specific worker without home can be developed by this joint working group. So any comments, feedback for this part? Maybe I go ahead for the issue 4 is how we can interact with other SDO on performance metric worker review. And I think one of the comments suggested we need to simplify to interact with other SDO or interact with working group. And I think this perfectly makes sense. Actually, I think for BMWG has a good transition to collaborate with user community and test community, and also other SDO, for example, Study Group 12, ETS, NFA, ISG, and I think recently, Rudiger have to collaborate between IETF and Study Group 12, and he mentioned for Study Group 12, there's no overlapping with BMWG, but in Study Group 12, there's quite a lot of work related to IPPM. So I think if we have some common interest from other SDO, I think we can consider to appoint a working group liaison contact and to facilitate for this kind of collaboration. And also, if some worker from other SDO we lack expertise, so we need to limit the scope for this cross SDO collaboration. For example, Study Group 12 they focus on QoE or objective model. I think we don't have expertise to review, so I think we can restrict our scope for cross SDO collaboration. Any feedback on this? Zafar.
Zafar, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. No, for both issue 3 and 4, I think they're purely management aspect of things, and I don't see you can make it work, but two working group, if you fail, you can make it work. You can also fail after merging. I think it's purely management aspect. In some way, maybe that when you have more focus, work in one area, you have better communication outside that area for that specific thing. But I don't see any reason for 3 and 4 to be a driver for merger.
Yeah, just to clarify this one, Zafar. We are not making any conclusion right now about the conclusion of all this discussion will be to merge the working group or to, I would say, keep them separate. The goal of the exercise, and I think this is something that we need to agree on all collectively, is that there are a set of issues that we are currently encountering in both working groups. And the point here is that we don't need to hide those, that to speak about them. And if, for example, the slides, this one and the previous issues, these are concrete issues that we are having with the current way we have for benchmarking working group and for IPPM. The question is how we can make this better, and whether we will be packaging that as part of the joint work or separate them. I think that's if we go for any modifications or distortion of the current way of working of IPPM and benchmarking working group, we need to take into account these issues and how we will be making them better. So my question to you, Zafar, is do you think that these are not problems? And if you think that these are not issues at all, what are your proposals and your suggestions so that we can make this better for the future?
Thanks, Matt. Matt, there's no question. I'm not denying the problems. I'm just saying is that these problems doesn't want or require, or joining the working group is not the only way to solve the problem, or not the only solution to the problem. And if that would be the case, then we combine a lot of working group together. But that's the only point. Not denying, by no means, not denying the problem itself.
Yes, so thank you for clarifying this, Zafar. So on this specific issue, do you have any suggestions for the working group, how we can make this better for the future, even if you keep IPPM and benchmarking separate? Are there, I don't know, tracks or items that you think it is good for us to consider for the future, so that we can make, for example, coordination with the others better, help new people coming to the IETF navigate through the process and know that if you want to talk about performance, you have to go there. We have a clear entry point in the work in the IETF, this kind of issues. That would be really great to share those as well with both working groups. Yeah, you can think about this later on and share this on the mailing list. The purpose is just to start the discussion and we can iterate on this.
No, I agree. That's the problem and it needs to be solved. But yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. I think last slides. I think I have 2 slides. I think I want to open discussion with some picture question. Really, for the question I want to ask. What should be the high priority performance related topic? What are the high priority benchmarking related topic? For benchmarking related work,
Chin, we can't hear you anymore. Maybe it's just me.
Hello?
Now we can hear you, Chin.
Sorry, my connection is not very good. So I want to open discussion with this picture question. People maybe add your like the question you think are important, so we can discuss what your answer will be this question. Carson.
Yes, let me open it. So from my point of view, and of course I'm a little bit biased as an independent tester, knowledge and goals for real benchmarking is always in a little bit of a conflict with the developments guys who are often from vendors. Of course, theoretically, they would have the full knowledge as they understand the details of the technology, but on the other hand, the quality assurance and testing is a different skill set and it's more overarching. And also sometimes you need to create real good methodology to figure out issues that the developers maybe don't want to be figured out. So from my point of view, it would be better to keep it separate and to stick to the underlying general idea of having a benchmarking methodology area, whether it's individual working group or merged is another question.
Thanks for your feedback.
I think there is Tim in queue.
Yeah, hi there. One thing you've not mentioned there is, or maybe it's implied, is the protocol specific aspect of it, in terms of, when it comes back to the commonalities, ways and means by which to design new measurement protocols or performance protocols. And I'm minded by the discussion in 6man at the moment, for example, over the use of IPv6 extension headers, which some OAM tooling does use, whether it's hop by hop or destination option. Is there use in discussing the approaches we should take in designing new tools, new methods, and then promoting that across other areas, as mentioned on the last slide, or other areas of developing things, to try and get some standardized ways that these tools work, and therefore more chance that those would be supported across wider parts of the internet?
Yeah, I think this question may be applied to the IPPM or some other area as well. Maybe Thomas, you want to clarify a little bit?
Yes, I was just listening to Tim and to Karsten, and I was thinking, like, if we now look at both working groups and if you look at the charges, I think there's a clear distinction between metrics definition and actually measuring protocols.
Yeah.
Would you say that basically metrics definition is maybe something which could be potentially common for both working groups? However, how we measure, how we test, that's something completely different.
Well, I think one group is defining the protocols that you're using, and the other is then using them to do the benchmarking, ultimately.
Yeah, for instance, yes. I was just wondering, like, whatever the differences between the working group doesn't lie in the metric definitions, they're more like how we measure that. Not sure. I'm just raising here.
Rakesh?
Yeah, I also don't think the two working groups should be merging. I don't see the synergy between the two separate topics. I'm from the organizations, and we don't have like a one person or one team doing the both work kind of thing. So the expertise and skills and the details are quite different. Although you may have same term that they use, but the meanings are different too. So I do not think the two working groups should be merging, in my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, I think I need to wrap up. Actually, we already run out of time. And for next step, I think we need to continue managing the discussion for joint chapter coordination. And I want to looking for the volunteer who help. And so chair maybe Paul for this.
Yes, so I think the question is now how we continue with the next steps, whatever like who is into, like how many people are interested to continue this discussion. If we could do a quick poll here at the end. Sorry, the title meant to be, do you want to contribute to this discussion? Yes or no? Okay, I see we have 16 in the call and we have like 13 feedback, and I see a clear trend, like people are interested in that discussion and we want to continue with that. So I think, Jin, I think we're on the right course here, and let's bring that to the mailing list. And
yeah. Thanks.
Good.
Anything so for people who are interested to discuss, actually, please feel free to reach me and also working group chair, so we can see how we can better progress this kind of work.
Good, excellent, Jin. Anything from your side, Giuseppe, before we are wrapping up?
No, I don't have anything to add. So let's continue the discussion on the mailing list, and yeah, please contact Chin or BNWG and IPPM chairs for further inputs. Yeah, we welcome your inputs. Yeah.
Good. Then thanks a lot for everybody. So we are concluding here today's joint session and looking forward on the mailing list.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.